What's going on, everybody? Jordan with Protagonist Coffee Roasters, here to show you one of my favorite ways to make coffee in the morning, which is on the Chemex. I love the Chemex. It makes a super bright cup of coffee. It's thick, papery filter, removes a ton of oils, so it's really light, it's not heavy bodied, which is what I prefer. You can make coffee for yourself, or you can make coffee for 6, 7 people. They make tons of different sizes. They make a single serve Chemex. They make a big one that I think is 12 cups, something like that. This is a 6-cup Chemex right here. I've had this exact piece for like 10 years. I love it. Works great, makes great coffee, but it looks good, right? I mean, this just sitting on a counter just looks good. Beautifully designed by a German dude back in the 50s, I think, something like that. This looks like a piece of lab equipment. I'm sure you guys have probably seen these things around before. Let's get to it. So the big thing to remember when you're scaling your coffee up, so when you're making it for yourself, but then you're going for 2, 3, 4 people, is that you want to remember your grind size. The more you're making, the more coarse your grind size has to be. It may take a couple of times for you to dial it in and find what works for you. All of this is for personal preference, right? You may like a more bolder cup of coffee. You may like a more lighter cup of coffee. What I'm doing today is sort of the typical standard. Again, we're making it for 2 people, so our grind size is going to be a little more coarse than it is if you were just making a cup for one serving. This is my go-to for 2 people. We're starting off with 55 grams of coffee. We're going to throw that into our fellow ode here. If you're using the fellow ode, that's a grind size setting of 7.5. If you're using a Baratza Encore, that's around a 30 or so. Got our Chemex filter. A lot of people have issues of trying to figure out how to work this. It's pretty simple. It's a square, right? Turn it to where it looks like a diamond. Take 1 piece of your paper, and you're gonna have 3 pieces on the other side, and take that thick side where there's the 3 pieces and put that up against your spout side of your Chemex, just like that. Now, as always, you've heard me say this, preheat the brewing vessel, flush your filter. Remember, that does 2 things. That gets rid of all the papery flavor from the filter, and that also prevents you from temperature shock in your brewing vessel. So we're gonna do that now. Make sure to get all of your filter nice and flushed. Now we're gonna discard the water. You may wanna put your hand on top of this so you don't lose your filter, so. Now, this is something that you don't have to do. So take a chopstick, a straw, something like that, or you can even use your finger, but that's kind of gross. Stick it right down in the middle, and then you're just gonna sort of start taking this around in circles. So what this is doing is it's creating a better surface to have a better bloom, so you can make sure that all of your coffee is extracted well in the bloom. This is a little controversial here because a lot of coffee purists are huge on the bloom, right? They wanna bloom for minimum of 30 seconds, if not a minute for the most part. Since we're working in such big volume here, I don't want to over extract this coffee, so I'm not going to bloom it for more than about 15 seconds. If you have coffee that's not too far off the roast, this shouldn't be a problem. If it's super fresh coffee, like a week off the roast, bloom it for a little bit longer. Typically, you want to double your volume when it comes to blooming. So if you put 55 grams of coffee in there, you want to pour to 110 for a bloom. So that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to start our timer. Make sure to get all of that nice and saturated. And then give it a swirl. We don't want any dry pockets in there. And at this point, we're already at 15 seconds, so we're gonna start the pour, and we're gonna pour to 260 grams of coffee. Try not to put your stream of water directly on your filter. And we're also gonna try not to pour directly in the center of our cone here. There we go, we're at 260. We're gonna let this settle a little bit. Now, by the time you reach 1 minute on your timer, you're gonna add your next dose of water. So we're gonna pour to 520 now. Again, just going in a swirling motion. That's gonna take you right up to the top of the Chemex. Give that time to settle. Got about 45 seconds or so of time to do what you want. Think about what you're gonna do for your day. Start your to-do list. Daydream. Or just sit and stare at your coffee. Just watch it happen. So cute.
Oh.
So stupid. Are Around the 2 minute and 30 second mark, you're gonna put your final addition of water in. It's gonna bring you to a total water weight of 780 grams. And again, if you don't have it perfectly dialed in, you may be off a little bit on time. I'm a little off here. You know, different beans have different densities. So depending on what your origin is, it may throw it off a little bit. There we are. So that's our total amount of water. So we're done with the brewing process. Now we just wait. We wait for all this to fall. If you've got everything dialed in right, this should take around 5 to 5.5 minutes. This is probably a good time to tell you to go check out Protagonist Coffee Roasters on Instagram. Give us a follow. Just give us praise of any sort. Just let us know that we're doing something that you guys care about. We're done, and we actually kind of nailed it because we finished right at 5:15. The cool thing again about the Chemex is that you don't have to decant this. You know, this is already in its decanter, which is really nice. Give it a swirl to incorporate all those layers of flavors. Perfect, right here. Woo! I love that. It's so good. It's got the perfect balance of body and flavor, right? It's not overbearing, it's not thick like a French press, but it's not too light, you know? This is my go-to in the mornings right here, like a good Chemex in the morning. I said this is for 2, but let's be honest, this is what I'm gonna drink. It's gonna be this much right here. Gives you about two mugs about this size. This is my morning right here, and it should be your morning too. As long as there's Protagonist Coffee Roasters coffee in it, okay? Thanks so much for checking out this video. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at Protagonist Coffee Roasters on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. Go give us a follow and let us know if we can help out with any of your coffee issues or problems. Thanks, guys.